And we're back. Successful Indie Author 5-Minute Focus, episode 473, writing your first book, or actually writing about any book. And doing it early today because I got an appointment to get my new battery on my cell phone fairly this morning. Anyway, here's Stanley hanging out, becoming one with nature. And here I am, and it's, let me turn on some light here. It's light 24 hours a day, but it's overcast, so it's kind of looking a little bit dark out. So when you're writing your first book, what is compelling you to write? Stand up there. What is compelling you to write? Why do you feel like you need to write this first book? Write a book. Embrace that, because that feeling is you understand that you're going into it, you're going to crawl through a lot of broken glass to get to the end. Some people, it's motivating, it's inspiring, you write and you write and you write, and then all of a sudden you've got a great book. That's the optimal state, but generally you write and write and write because you've got a great idea, and all of a sudden you're stuck, like a third of the way through, half of the way through, like this is only half a book and I'm stuck. Well, that's because you didn't see it all the way to the end. If you see it all the way to the end, then you can write it, but also there's a lot of crawling through broken glass to get there. You have to develop the scenes, you have to develop the characters, you have to maintain your plot and keep it moving forward. You can't go off on tangents that you don't resolve. You need to keep those other elements in play until the end when you can wrap them up. So you're there to share the story in your head. You have to learn how words drive images. Learning sometimes takes work. Reading other authors and how they shape the scene in order to affect the reader's emotions. So you're learning all this. It doesn't come naturally. Using words to shape emotions is not a natural thing that people have. It's not genetic. You have to learn it. And you learn it through a lot of reading, through a lot of practice, through seeing how it interacts with a reader, working with readers to help them help you. Your first book is usually the one you write for yourself. It's the story that has been driving you. You don't look at it and say, hey, I want to make a living as an author. Here's the market. I'm going to write this book now because this market is hot. Who has that kind of knowledge? Well, some of our 20 bookers do because of all the research and stuff. But that's a hard way to write a book because it's more like work. I'm writing this for the readers as opposed to I'm writing this for myself. If you're writing for yourself, you're a lot more motivated to get to the end state and write the end or write to be continued. You have to do it for yourself. That first one is for yourself. And then you keeping your readers happy while writing a book for yourself. This is the optimal state. That's where the two Venn diagrams cross over. And here's what I like to write. Here's what readers like to read. Okay, let me put it right in that bullseye and deliver those books and build that foundation of readership who can't wait for the next book. And then that's how you build a career as an author. Find a computer program that works for you. Me, I use Word. I was in the Marine Corps, and we used Word for the last 12 or 15 years of my career. I've been retired for over 20 years now. So I think they still use Word in the Marine Corps, in the military as a whole. So that's what I used because that's what I knew, and that's what I've used ever since. That's what I used going through law school. That's what I use as a consultant, all the Microsoft products to include Excel. So that's what I use. That's what I'm comfortable with. Use what you're comfortable with because you don't want the tool changing how you deliver this story. Maybe it's pen and paper. There's a lot of people who write great stories, but they have to write them out by hand in order to get the most from it. Now, there's some great Remarkable is a pad that you write, and it translates those words directly into a program that you can then manipulate later. That's the only problem with handwriting is editing. Now, you got to get it into a word processor in order to edit it. But whatever works for you. Don't say, well, I have to use Word, and then you struggle with Word, and it makes it not fun. Writing your first book should be fun in a lot of things because it's for you. I'm doing this for me, so don't let the tool turn you off and make it so you can't get your book done. Use the tool that's right for you, whether it's Apple Pages or Google Docs or whatever. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, you have to use Word. No, or Scrivener. You have to use Scrivener. That's what writers use. Use what you're comfortable with. You can always manipulate and move your text into other forms once you've written the story. But until you've written that story, make sure you use what you're comfortable with. All right, supplemental material. 20 Books Vegas 2019, Day 3, Anatomy of Story by John Truby. An excellent session that hopefully you'll get a lot out of. You can watch it there. The link's in the comments. And there you are. Writing your first book. Write it. Focus on writing it. Don't let things distract you. And make sure you see it all the way to the end. It'll make it so much easier to write.